Exodus 35. We were in Exodus last week, so let's go to 35 and read verses 30 through 35. Exodus 35, 30 through 35. Somebody get that? Yeah, Exodus. Yeah, 35. Yeah, and then verses 30 through 35. Okay, Sister Mag, 1 Kings 7:14. Jessica right behind the 2 Chronicles 2:14. And then yeah, 2:14. And then right there, Daniel 1. We covered this, but we'll do that again at the end. Right now we're going to do Exodus 35. What I want to do is show you, let me just open it up to explain and give you an idea. When we talk about gifts here in the New Testament, we focus so much on gifts of the Spirit in terms of things like prophecy, tongues, laying on of hands, miracles, and all of those are, that's true. It's spiritual blessings that God has given. And what I'm doing here now is to go back and open up to show you the range of being gifted by God. It's not just these spiritual things, but there are also natural abilities and talents and all, and that's what we done missed. All of us got all kind of talents, which is still considered a gift that's given to us from God. So when we look at it from that way, you include both the natural and the spiritual side. So much we just focus just on the spiritual side, but there's this natural side and everything. That's what I tapped in last week, and I'm gonna tap in a bit more that tonight, then I'll move back toward the prophetic, which is what we were dealing with in essence. But I wanna, because what I'm trying to do also is for you to learn. If we look at it like this, then you're gonna be able to appreciate and see just how many folks around us that are gifted, but gifted in various areas that we may not even thought about, and that are important in the work of God or just in life. Okay, and I'll come back to it and show you. So let's go with that Exodus chapter 35. Somebody read that 30 through 35. Or I can read since I got it right here. Okay, let me go right here. Exodus chapter 35, and I'm starting at verse 30. And Moses said to the children of Israel, see, the Lord has called by name Bezalel, the son of Uri, the son of Hur, of the tribe of Judah. Verse 31. And he has filled him with the Spirit of God. Listen to that now. Listen. He's filled, what is he filled with?
With the Spirit of God.
Okay, Spirit of God. Okay, he has called this guy, Bezalel, for he has been filled with the Spirit of God. Then it goes on to say, look what it goes on the name. Look what it goes. In wisdom and understanding, in knowledge. Here it goes. And all manner of workmanship, to design artistic works, to work in gold and silver and bronze, in cutting jewels for settings, in carving wood, and to work in all manner of artistic workmanship. When we talk about gift, we never thought about all of that. So while I embrace all the spiritual things that we talk about, and this is what Paul had to deal with a lot in the New Testament church earlier, because in Corinth, everybody was excelling for tongues and prophecy. And all of these spiritual things that can be seen and portrayed out front. And here when we go back to Moses, you see how much giftedness that God was recognizing in people. In the same way that somebody is gifted or anointed to do this over here, what God is saying, that same anointing that I have on you to preach, I have on this guy to work in artistic work and everything else. But we're taught not to value that. So people who are just as gifted as you are in other areas is not recognized because all of the emphasis is on certain gifts, certain spiritual gifts.
Especially just in the church.
Especially in the church, and this deals with how the church, the tabernacle is built and everything. So I will focus so much on this, and so it makes everybody seek to be out front doing something because the other areas of giftedness is not recognized, not valued, not even appreciated or nothing. And what God says in building of the tabernacle, the artisans who make these things are just as important to me to be gifted as anybody else. They just gifted in other areas.
That's it. That's it.
And so what Paul's solution was, he said, all you can seek to prophesy and do all those things, but covet the better gift, which is, first what it comes down to be, is just to learn how to love everybody and treat everybody right. That's the better one. You kind of summed it up. You see how that, so God says to the workman, he is filled with the Spirit of God and is anointed to do all manner, to work with it, because in the temple, and I'll give you a little bit of idea what went into that this morning. Workmanship, the design artistic works to work in gold and silver and bronze and cutting jewels and the setting and carving wood and to work in all manner of artistic work. And he has put in his heart the ability to teach in him and Holier, and which is another one of the song, and I like to get all the names in that part. But I wanted, this is why I stress right here. He put in him, that is the ability to teach. That is Baziel and Aholiab. Not only are they gifted, God says, I've put in them the ability to teach. In other words, with your anointing, teach and train other people to be as gifted in this same trade, those who may desire to do those things, that I have the ability to teach you how to be as gifted and anointed. Even he said that's a gift. As great, and I don't mean this in a bad way, as great as Jordan was as a basketball player, he's not good at teaching. He cannot teach guys to do what he did. He can do it, but he couldn't teach. Well, you got some of them, what's the guy over at the Clippers now? Doc Rivers, who was great in basketball, but is equally as great in teaching others to be great. See, some people can be great in what they're doing, but they're not great or good at teaching others to do. Where you got some of them got that anointing to teach, so I can do this greatly, but I also got an anointing and a gift to teach you how to be great. And it's necessary for the work to continue. But also that now says, in the eyes of God, that the person that can teach others to be great is high, is considered a person filled with the Spirit of God. Isn't that something?
Yes.
All right, so, and he's filled them with skill to do all manner of work, engravings, and the designer, and the tapestry, and this is all stuff that's going into the tabernacle, the blue, purple, scarlet, red, and it just names a whole bunch of other stuff. And all this is going to go in the sanctuary, which is the next one. But I know I gave y'all some other ones to read. Okay, go to 1 Kings 7 and 14. That's be a good one. 1 Kings 7 and 14. Who I gave to read that one? Okay.
He was a widowed son of the tribe of Naphtali, and his father was a man of Tyre, a worker in brass. And he was filled with wisdom and understanding, and cunning to work all works in brass. And he came to King Solomon and wrought all his work.
Okay, so he was the son of a widowed woman, Naphtali, and his father was a man of Tyre, but himself was gifted. Now this is, 100 years later, but I'm showing you how that was building of the tabernacle on the day of Moses. This is building the actual temple under the day of Solomon. But here it is, they need somebody who is gifted to work in bronze and all that, and he was, again, filled with the spirit of wisdom and understanding and skill in working all